30 feet across, 32 feet across, some of them. Yeah, definitely Montgomery might have a slight edge, a little bit more so than in a smaller cage, but even still, he's a lot taller, he's a lot longer, and if he fights smart, he should be able to give DeAnda a really tough time.
Would you suggest that Montgomery uses the jab to keep DeAnda at bay?
He could use jabs. He could also use push kicks to keep him at bay. And most importantly, more important than the jab or the push kicks, is footwork. He's got to be on his horse, moving around, circling.
Light heavyweights in the cage. Joe Martinez will get us underway.
Here we go once again, ladies and gentlemen, from Tachi Palace, Lemoore, California. We're in the 5-minute round bout. This 3-rounder in the light heavyweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner, a freestyle fighter standing 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighing in officially 204 pounds even. He brings an outstanding professional record, a veteran record of 12 wins and 5 defeats. From Sacramento, California, here is the Hammer, Drew Montgomery. And next his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist standing 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in officially 204 3/4 pounds. His record stands 9 victories, just 2 defeats. Fighting out of and representing Central California by way of Modesto, here is Angel, the Dream DeAnda. Referee in charge, Marcos Rosales.
Marcos Rosales, our referee for this light heavyweight contest. 3 5-minute rounds at Tachi Palace Fights 14. Validation here. Lemoore on TJ DeSantis along with Javier Vasquez, Jordan Breen cage side in the bingo hall. DeAnda in the black, Montgomery in the red and black tie shorts.
DeAnda moving his head, trying to close the distance, trying to get around Montgomery's punches. Oh, there you go. Moved his head, slipped and dragged and countered. Very nice. So long as he's moving his head, he should be good. The head movement can neutralize the length of your opponent, because as the punch flies by your head, you're that much closer to your opponent, and you're in the striking range for the shorter man.
Watch your footwork. It's a little slick out there. Hey.
See that long jab of Montgomery early?
Montgomery looking a little bit tentative, not real confident with his jab. DeAnda looks very calm, moving, nice left hook, right hand.
Nice little uppercut in the inside there.
He's definitely got the range. He's definitely figured out the range.
Montgomery able to clinch up here.
Interesting strategy by Montgomery. I would think he would want to stay on the outside, but he decides to clinch inside. And DeAnda swimming his hand or pummeling his hands inside, achieving double underhooks. He looks like he wants to break and strike from there. There he goes.
Nice little knee there by Montgomery. We talk about the reach from a striking standpoint, but in the clinch, it plays a factor as well.
I mean, we can also look at a lot of taller fighters who are good in the clinch. They're more rare, but we see guys like John Jones who, because of their leverage, can drag guys to the mat or fall back and lateral drop them or knee them in extraordinary ways. There are guys who are able to fight highly effectively from the clinch despite being taller fighters. It's simply a dangerous, perhaps, proposition in this case, knowing DeAnda could simply rip a short, powerful punch and blow Montgomery away, similar to the way he did in their first bout.
DeAnda was setting up his strikes by stepping in, getting Montgomery to commit to something, stepping back and countering. Classic boxing.
Montgomery on the floor here working the closed guard position. We'll see if he throws those hips up and legs up and try to frame something up here. Get DeAnda thinking.
Nice job swimming his hands inside by Montgomery. By posturing up, Montgomery should open his guard and bring his knees across his chest, managing that distance. All he's doing, it looks like he wants to hold his head. Right now, he should be filling the gap between their chests with his knees. Montgomery should. He could change the hands on the head to stop the hands, to the strikes to the body as well. Guard work, defensive strikes from defending strikes from the bottom of the guard is something that's extremely overlooked. Most guys have aborted it altogether. They look to get up to their feet. But if you keep your guard closed, you're just kind of becoming a stationary target. And if you don't want to be there, you should open your guard, move, or look to get up, possibly putting your back up against the fence and climbing up the fence, or at least opening your guard, pushing the hips away and looking to get up.
DeAnda looking pretty comfortable here, working some punches to the body and the head. Some hard right hands there, making
They're missing.
Montgomery move.
Most of those missed. Montgomery did a good job of swinging through, but now they're starting to find their range.
Should DeAnda look to stack here to try to throw these punches?
He should open his guard and fill the space with his knees to manage the distance. He's not doing anything to push DeAnda away. DeAnda's free to throw strikes because Montgomery, all he's doing is covering up. There's no threat from the bottom at all.
Montgomery weathering the storm for now.
There you go, Angel. There you
DeAnda's
go,
doing a good
Angel.
job. He's picking his shots. He's got good base right there, and he's going top to bottom, hitting the body, hitting the head, looking to clear the hands off his head, posturing, staying tall, and ultimately just picking his shots. There's a good left hand over the top.
Montgomery's passive and defensive here. That's completely what Angel DeAnda would love. He would love to face a fighter who isn't going to try to counter him, who isn't really going to try to do a whole lot. That means he's the one committing to offense.
Another thing that Montgomery can do is actually grab the wrist of DeAnda, which he's not doing either. I mean, there's several things he can do from the bottom of the guard to avoid strikes, and he's doing none of them except covering up.
I would typically be critical of a fighter in this case going for wrist control, but he's doing so little that anything to actually stop the flow of strikes at this point in time would be beneficial for Drew Montgomery.
You can grab the wrist if you know what you're doing, but you got to do something. Montgomery looks like he's done here.
Angel DeAnda landed an
It's gonna be
uppercut that
over
went
here.
between his arms that seemed to do most of the
It's over.
damage.
Marcus Rosales really giving fighters every single chance tonight to stay in the fight. He's on top of it.
Promoter Richard Goodman just walked by and is absolutely apoplectic at what Rosales is letting happen here.
And there it's done.
To say that the people around the cage are not exactly thrilled that Marcus Rosales let that continue would be an understatement.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. You know, Rosales really needs to be talked to, in my opinion. You can't let fights go on like that. That's the second one tonight. DeAnda did a fantastic job posturing, throwing hands over the top. He did a fantastic job of keeping himself up. Great job of getting the takedown, holding top position, and picking his shots.
And exactly as we saw in the first fight that Marcus Rosales refereed, like Zeth Martin, DeAnda here was winging away, but we see when he's able to land an uppercut between the actual hands of Drew Montgomery, it's what really seems to do a lot of the damage, and from there, he was able to finish up with clean, hard, quality blows and finish this fight.
I mean, it's crazy to me that how little Montgomery did off his back. All he tried to do was hold the head and control one arm. Meanwhile, the other arm was tagging him to the body and the head, and then when he started to defend, DeAnda would posture up and just rain punches. Look at that. There's no management of distance. The secret to stopping strikes from the bottom of the guard is controlling distance, and and Montgomery, all he's doing is keeping his legs crossed, making himself a huge target.
I would say even worse, thrashing from side to side. I mean, as he moves his head around, he's getting hit with blows from both sides. He basically made himself an easier target by rolling around in the guard from side to side.
You can roll.
If you're looking at your opponent dodging
absolutely,
strikes.
but you got to have your eyes open so you know what direction the shots are coming from. There's nothing wrong with rolling with the punch, taking it off the shoulders. Nothing wrong with that, but you got to see where the punches are coming from. It almost seemed like he was rolling the wrong direction every time.
DeAnda also had a good sense of when to go to the body, when to kind of crush with these elbows, when to go underneath with an uppercut between the guard. Good sense of how to punch on top.
There was no threat. He had all the time in the world to figure that stuff out.
Probably good for him since he's not a ground specialist. He got to get on top and basically work a boxing routine from full guard.
Angel DeAnda victorious tonight, pushes his record against Drew Montgomery to 2-0 and his pro MMA record to 10-2. Let's make it official with Joe Martinez.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 4 minutes, 30 seconds. Round number one. Referee Marcos Rosales calls a halt to the bout. Stoppage due to strikes. Your winner by knockout victory, Angel the Dream DeAnda.
His physical advantages, he didn't use any of them. He didn't use footwork. He didn't maintain the range. As a matter of fact,